was installing the 16-gram weights in here, which we've already done. I guess I'm going to do that in part 1. This is actually part 2 here, and we're going to change this to a lime green spring from EPI. And I've already done a lot of the work to get to this point, so you might have to watch the first video to understand how to get to this point. First thing you're going to need to do after getting the cover and stuff like that off is you got to take this clutch off here. And I've already broke this loose with the impact gun, so we don't have the air compressor coming on. I'm going to slide this off and set it down. Take your belt off. Alright, and then I took the impact gun and took this loose. This was 17 millimeter for this. There's a spanner tool that you can make for this to kind of hold this from turning. If you use a ratchet, you just need something that can hold this like a cheater. And the impact gun made it easy because I could just hold it with my hand. Anyway, you take this 17 millimeter bolt out, pull it on off, it comes straight out, and there's no oil or nothing back in there to worry about, just a cover. And what I've done is I bought the EPI clutch kit tool, which is nothing more than a piece of angle with a piece of rod welded on it. Looks like it's probably 12 inches tall or so. What you want to do to change this spring out, here's the old spring. I've already changed it. Here's the old spring. You set this on there like so, and here's the other part of the tool, which looks like it'd be a little harder to make, but it ain't too bad of an idea there. What you want to do is set this straight down on top of it, and all you want to do is compress the spring maybe a 1/4 inch, 3/16 or something, just to take some of the weight off this nut that's inside here. You don't have to try to compress it much. Actually, if it just gets firm, you're about right. There's some edges on this nut right here that you can catch with a punch, or in this case I'm using, well, let me tighten it up first. Take some weight off of it. Yeah, see, it got tight. That's all you gotta do. Anyway, you gotta try to take this loose. It's fairly easy to turn. Of course, it's easy for me because I've already changed it out. It'll start coming off by hand. There it goes. Now all you gotta do is loosen it up. It'll take almost the whole length of the rod to get it off. And you notice that once it comes up about a 1/4 inch, the spring's going to kind of rotate about a 1/4 turn. It didn't rotate much. 1/4 turn maybe is a little much. Keep that in mind, that it rotated, because when you go to put the spring back on, you got to rotate it back just a little for it to catch the flat edge on these. I'll show you in a minute. There you go. Get it out the way. The nut. This is a piece that comes with the bike right here, this washer. And the spring comes up through this hole that's got a tab bent back on it. Change the spring out, because they got it all powder coated. It's hard to get it out. That's it right there. You have a spring, you can put one or the other on. What you want to do is get this right here to catch in the hole in the bottom of that plate right there. There's a little hole for it. See that? It goes right in there. And then look right here at this edge right here. It's flat. It's flat on the back side, just like that. Alright. Now what you want to look at is the tip that sticks up on the spring right here is off center from that by about, I don't know, this is at about 1 o'clock in relation to that flat edge. So what you want to do is when you put this on and you get it on there, this has a flat edge on it too, right here, and it's not lined up with that flat edge down there, so you kind of got to load the spring a little bit for it to line up. So keep that in mind as we come down with the tool. Alright, now make sure you put this on first, or you'll have to come all the way back up with your tool. Speed it up a little bit. You gotta start lining up that edge. That's it right there. It's not too hard to turn it with your hand. It's not that big a deal. You're not loading it that much. What I'm doing, I'm holding pressure on that spring, and it's already caught that flat edge already. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this wrench until I feel it kind of bottom out a little bit. It feels like it's pretty much there. Now it's time to get this nut back on there. It looks like I'm a little off center with my tool. There we go. So basically what you're going to do is just put this nut back on, same way you took it off, hammering a chisel or a screwdriver. Getting on that little cross thread. I'll look at them threads real quick. How are we looking on time there, Robert?
8:15.
There it goes. I felt it. There it goes. Don't cross thread it. You're going to do this until it bottoms out. Sounds like it. Can't get much tighter than that. There we go. The spring's installed. All you gotta do is put it back in the bike. This tool's pretty handy, but it looks like you could probably make one if you wanted to. Alright, all you gotta do is slide it back on them splines. Get your 17mm bolt. Put that back on there. Torque it down. I don't know what the heck the torque is, I don't forgot now. Probably somewhere around 80.
9 minutes 45 seconds.
Alright, once you get this done, you put this back on. Put your belt back on there, put your bolt in this, tighten that down. You'll be putting your cage back on there, and you put your cover back on. That's how you do the spring mod.